I just checked out Willow, the first few episodes that have been released anyways, and I'm going to let you guys know what I thought about it coming up next. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the channel. I'm Kevin Duffy, this is Duffy Geeks Out, and I'm going to come at you with my review of the first few episodes of Willow. Full disclosure here, I was a massive fan of the original Willow back in the day. Probably one of my childhood favorite movies. Loved Warwick Davis's character play as the would-be sorcerer. Loved Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan. I couldn't wait when they announced they were making a sequel to the movie, and they were going to do a series about it. The first couple trailers looked great. I couldn't wait to dive back into this world and see what good could come from this Disney reincarnation. Well, fingers crossed it was going to be good. And I got to say, at least out of the first two episodes, they did not disappoint. I loved these first two episodes of Willow. I think that the comedy is great. Sometimes too much comedy in a show or a series kind of takes you out of something. You know, I have that issue with Marvel sometimes where too much comedy and not enough story depth, not enough like action. But I guess with Willow, it works for me because the jokes made by Warwick Davis or by any of these characters as they're interacting, it really just worked for me. And as somebody who loved this original movie so much and loved the portrayals of these characters in the original, I am just thrilled that this series has been made and that I get to watch it week to week now. The special effects are pretty damn good. Not the best special effects I've ever seen. They've been used pretty sparingly. That first episode had a lot of special effects, at least in regards to like magic and like CGI creatures and shit like that. And they looked pretty good. And they did the right thing where they did it at night and they did it dark. So that way it looked like any imperfections that might have been there kind of blended into that, you know, the frame that they've set up with the darkness and the, you know, candle lights and all that stuff. So looked pretty good. The action was good. The sword fighting's great. The practical effects on these creatures when they show up, what were they called? The Gale, I think is what they were called in the first episode. When these like four creatures show up, each of them's a little different. Each of them look pretty damn cool. I really, really dug that. I thought like I said, the banter between these characters really what brings you in. Obviously, Val Kilmer's not in this series, at least yet. I don't know if he'll show up later. Maybe plotline got revealed that he is in fact dead in this series. I think they think that, but I don't know. But he is felt in this series, though. His children are in this as main characters. He obviously in the original, he ends up with Sorsha. This is one of those things where I'm going to say it like 1,000 times and it's going to sound wrong. Sorsha. She sells seashells by the seashore. Like, I don't know. That name has always escaped me. I'm going to call her the redheaded lady. It makes it easier. He ends up with her, and she's got kids in this world. So Mad Mardigan's kids are involved in the series right off the bat. Laura Dannon, who I don't know. I guess my one negative thing is I didn't like that in the beginning of this. Like, Laura Dannon is just like a maid or like a cook or whatever. I understand they're trying to hide her, but I didn't expect her to just kind of pop into the story at the point she did. I thought it would be like we need to go find her because we've stored her away, but whatever. She's in there. She's interesting now. I like the character. But the first, when it was revealed that she was a Laura Dannon, I was like, obviously you get a hint of that as the first episode's progressing, but I don't know. I just kind of expected her to have a little bit of a different intro into this series. But Warwick Davis is great. He's really got a lot on his shoulders carrying this classic movie that, you know, in all honesty, was a flop, but it was, you know, a cult classic that Disney owned the rights to, trying to compete with, what do we got that could compete with Amazon's Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones? We got Willow. I don't know. I can tell you this much. It's a Lucasfilm production that for the first time, since maybe The Mandalorian, it's a Lucasfilm production that I'm like, that is great. And you know, I think the new Indiana Jones will be great and everything, but like this this is something that I'm like, this is exactly the tone that Lucasfilm needs. This is reminding me of my childhood while making the story a little bigger and the action a little modern-er. But it's pretty good so far. I'm really digging the story. I like the characters they've introduced. I like I said, the character interactions is really what's getting me to every episode to kind of get through it. I feel like they have such humorous interactions. The language or the dialect or not the dialect, but the accents that are used in this are interesting. Like so many, and I guess was the truth in the original Willow too, because Mad Mardigan didn't have a British accent or anything. But it's weird that most of these characters have British accents, and then a bunch of them just have American accents, and they're just kind of thrown into each other. But specifically, Mad Mardigan's kids, like Sorsha has a British accent, so it's weird that with him not really being present in their lives for a lot of it, that they didn't also adapt a British accent and they adapted these American accents. But whatever. If all I have to do is take off my brain when it comes to or take off my thinking cap when it comes to the accents, then that is a very minor complaint in a series that's pretty freaking good. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my review of the first 2 episodes of Willow. What did you guys think about them so far? Have you liked this series? Do you hate this series? Did you like the original? Whatever you thought about it, hit the comments, let me know. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll come at you with more content like this as we get it. See ya.